Yesterday, in case you didn't have a chance to tune in to the Board of County Commissioners meeting, we had a number of things going on. The Commission had quite a long list of proclamations yesterday. Lots of important things are coming up. They proclaimed April as Parkinson's Awareness Month in Doña Ana County. Parkinson's is a disease that seems to be growing and involving more and more individuals, more and more families. And there are new efforts underway to conduct research, but there is, of course, unfortunately, still no cure for the disease. If you'd like to get more information about Parkinson's, go to the county's website, DoñaAnaCounty.org. They also declared April 2nd through the 8th as Victims' Rights Week in Doña Ana County. There was a really informative presentation by people from the District Attorney's Office talking about the efforts that they undertake to take care of victims, to provide support for them, and to provide resources for them as they provide evidence against people who have abused them or people who have committed crimes against them. We very often hear about Miranda warnings and issues involving civil rights of those who are accused of crimes. And sometimes in all of the civil liberties issues, people forget about the rights of victims. And so we wanted to underscore that there needs to be care and attention given to victims as well. Another proclamation yesterday was declaring April as Animal Control and Codes Officer Appreciation Month in Doña Ana County. You may have seen over the years the animal control officers out to round up feral cats or dogs that are running loose in your neighborhood. You may have even called them to come to pick up a dead animal. The work that they perform involving sometimes very dangerous animals is very important work. It's a really dirty and hard, tough job. And we want them to understand that we appreciate what they do because what they do keeps the community safe, and it also keeps people safe from a health standpoint. Because sometimes if those animals are sick and they're vicious, they will bite or attack people. Sometimes they even have rabies. And so what they do with respect to rounding up those animals and taking them to the shelter is very important. But on the lighter note, they also reunite lost dogs with their owners. And the percentage of animals that are returned to their owners in the county is very high. It's a statistic that we hear is envied by the city of Las Cruces. And then finally, codes enforcement officers are the people who come out to enforce building codes and codes that keep your neighborhood from losing its property values, or where people have parked a bunch of derelict cars on their property, or weeds, or people are getting into illegal dumping. And probably of all of the calls that we get, other than for roads, potholes, issues with roads, are code enforcement calls. Someone wanting people to come out to inspect something that's happening in their neighborhood to make sure that it's not in violation of the county's code provisions. So if you happen to run into an animal enforcement officer or a code enforcement officer, take a few seconds to shake their hand and to thank them for the fine job they're doing. We also had a proclamation declaring April 4th as Equal Pay Day. Now, some of you may not be familiar with pay equity or equal pay, but it's a situation where, for the most part, women earn less than men do. about 78 cents to the dollar that every man makes. And if you're a woman of color, a Hispanic or African American or Asian woman, you earn even less than 78 cents to the dollar as a man makes. In southern New Mexico, that number is only 75 cents to the dollar. Now, it is moving up very slowly over time, but we really need legislation in Congress, a Paycheck Fairness Act, to get rid of that gap. And the reason April 4th is an important date is because that's the day in the year when the pay of women actually catches up to what the pay of men was the year before. So more than 3 months lag there before the pay of women catches up to what men made for the previous year. There was a presentation of all of the contracts that were signed by the county for the previous 2-week period. Another effort in our transparency to provide more information to residents about where your tax dollars are going. And finally, on the approval agenda yesterday, there was an item involving the county's intervention in El Paso electric rate and related cases. You may be aware that last year the city, the county, and a number of other individuals and entities intervened in the El Paso electric rate case. The item that was voted on yesterday would modify the resolution passed by the prior commission, which authorized the county manager to make a decision about which cases to intervene in and when. And this would bring each case to the commission for them to make a determination as to whether the county should intervene in the cases. So as the year unfolds, we'll see how that works out.